Hi, everyone. Teresa Aker here from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. It's my privilege today to introduce you to Denise Porter. How you doing, Denise?
I am doing great, and I'm so thankful to be here with you today, Teresa. Thank you.
It's my pleasure to have you. So, Denise is an intuitive guide, teacher, and heart-centered leader. So, let's talk about how you got here, Denise. How did this all get started? I know you're an intuitive. Did you have these kind of things when you were younger, or did you experience them later? What happened?
I did have actually a lot of intuition showing up when I was younger. I saw a few of the scary kind of things, and I didn't really know what to make of it. I remember going back when I was, I think, 9 years old, and my parents were selling their house. And one couple had come to purchase it, and I said, okay, they're going to buy it. I told them the exact price, the date, and when it was going to happen. My parents were like, yeah, okay. And sure enough, it did happen that way. So
Okay.
I had kind of just things that would just happen to me. Not something I could control necessarily, but just a lot of instances like that. But what I found growing up is I started to kind of push that down because you want to fit into, you want to be normal, whatever normal means. And so I pushed them away and kind of forgot about them a little bit. I've always had a lot of high anxiety growing up. And so for me, going back into the intuition, I was looking for a solution to that. I
Oh,
had tried the medical pieces and I couldn't find anything that would help. And then when I had my own daughter who has severe anxiety, that was when I knew, okay, I need to delve back in. And
oh,
so that was about 10 years ago when I really got back into bringing my intuition online. I actually had a phone book. I know, phone book. For those of you that don't know what that is,
I know
a
it.
big bit of paper. I know you do, but some of your listeners may not. And we just kind of opened the pages and we were just looking for someone to help. And sure enough, there was a Huna practitioner. And Huna, for those that you don't know, is an ancient form of shamanism. And
Okay.
it's based in Hawaii. And it's just a beautiful, energetic way of just opening things up and to light. And I started learning about it. And I eventually became a practitioner, but I hadn't really wanted to delve into being a practitioner myself. I just wanted to learn to help me, to help my family, to help the people I knew. And so that's what I did. And I'm also an elementary school teacher. So I've been kind of using little pieces here and there. It's really helped me to help the kids that I supported and worked with.
That's interesting. So tell us, so what do you do as an intuitive? So do people come to you as a soothsayer or do you get feelings and you help people? What exactly do you do with your intuitive abilities?
It's right now it's kind of building a little bit. I'm also an RTT practitioner. So that means rapid transformational therapy. And I did that with Marissa Peer, and that's a hypnosis program. And initially for me, that's where I started because I'm very comfortable with the brain. I have a degree in psychology, I have the science background, and so that's where I went first. But what I was noticing with the people that I was working with is yes, we can pull out the limiting beliefs and we could work on those, but we weren't always going into the body. And I know I had struggled myself for so long just trying to release things because I hadn't felt safe in my own body. And so I started searching and trying to figure out, okay, what is going on? I'm really good at pulling things out of the brain, but then it doesn't always translate. So then I started to learn about somatics and I started to integrate a little bit more intuition and just channeling and trying to figure out how do we connect both? Because you really need your brain and your body to make it all work. Because your brain starts the process, but your body has that inner wisdom. And that's where all your intuition is stored. So when people come to me, I might start with the RTT piece because some people are very analytical and they don't necessarily want to go into an intuition piece right away. And we can do the science. There's nothing wrong with that. But then I also like to bring it into the body and find out where these things are being stored. And as I'm doing that, I'm definitely using intuition because whenever we do anything, it's not really us. We're just being a vessel for the divine to sort of come in and help support us. And that's what I do in a healing. I never know what's going to happen because it's coming through me.
Okay, so let's circle back. I'm familiar with Marissa Peer's work, so I understand what you took, and she's excellent. And anyone, our audience, could certainly look her up. She definitely does hypnosis, but she also does really, she doesn't put you under. You're really meditating at a deeper level. That's what I found with what she's doing. And kudos to you for taking her course. So that's wonderful. When you're talking to people and you're doing this and you're helping, really, they're when you talked about reaching in, so you're talking about the psychosomatic, so cycle the mind and the body, right?
Yes.
So the
Yeah.
mind, where the mind goes, the body follows. I understand that. But what I guess my question for you is, as you're working with people and you're a teacher, are people able through you to calm down, find themselves relatively quickly, or is this a process?
That's a big question. And really, it depends on the person. It depends on how ready they are and what they're bringing in. Sometimes it can happen just like that. There's usually three types of people when you're dealing with healing: someone who heals right away and it's really fast, someone who might have a lot of layers because, like a big onion, and we're peeling off one layer at a time, and sometimes it takes a little bit longer. And then there's that third person who, they might do the healing and they go on with their life, and suddenly they look back and go, oh, wow, I didn't even realize it had changed because it was so subtle, but it changed and I didn't even know. So usually it's one of those three types of people. But again, it's so varied because it depends on what people are coming to you for. If they're coming for some kind of confidence, that can happen in one session. But
Oh,
if it's something multi-layered, where we're talking about people who have sustained a lot of abuse or different things happening in their background, that might take a little bit more to unravel. So it's really very individual to the person.
there are a lot of people who face trauma when they were younger, and I've always actually and I'm sort of glad you brought up this. So I think you mentioned earlier the inner kind of subconscious way down here, and there's things that happen to you when you're a child. One of my questions is, sometimes people don't know they were traumatized as a child, or they may not know where the trauma is coming from at all. They come to you, they know something's not right, but they can't seem to shake it. Are you able to help them in that situation?
Yes, I mean, we go back in when we're doing hypnosis, we go and we regress and we can go back to childhood memories. And usually that time period between 0 and 7 is when you're kind of walking around like a giant sponge,
Yeah.
and you're just unconsciously absorbing what's happening around you. And sometimes people really don't realize the impact of some of the things, and it doesn't even have to be a capital T trauma. Sometimes there's something innocuous that someone might say, and that just kind of sticks in a certain way in your brain. And what we're going to do is just release that and allow that to let go. And with trauma, I can relate to that too. I grew up with a lot of trauma. So
Mhm.
I've experienced a lot of the capital T trauma, I suppose. And I feel like that really helps because I'm non-judgmental about it. I've been there, I've done that. So I
Right.
can really hold space very calmly and easily for people. And we can dig into those traumas. And sometimes we're using source and we're figuring out what people are ready to release and what's ready to go. I'm also in the process of doing a shamanic practitioner. So I use a lot of shamanic techniques as well. So I kind of have a bunch of modalities that I combine to do whatever needs to happen for that particular person.
Can I ask is it Shamada, did you say?
Shamanic practices. So I'm
Shamanic.
a to be a shamanic practitioner as well.
And what is that? Help us with that. Stretch that out, will you?
So again, it's just more energy techniques.
Oh, okay.
They're a little stronger sometimes. I mean, sometimes people need to get rid of certain energies, and it's something we can help them to release. But really, ultimately, all healing really comes from source. No matter what modality you are using source in some way, shape, or form. And really, they're doing this healing. You're just becoming that sort of open vessel and allowing that to come in and help heal through you.
That makes sense. Now, let's bring it back to someone who's now coming to you as an adult, and they're in total chaos. They're you said earlier, they're not safe in themselves. They don't feel good. They're struggling. How do you go about calming them down? How do you get them to, because you can't really, I'm thinking, it's just my opinion, you can't really meditate or go deep if you're just so tight and you're frustrated, or things are all going wrong all of a sudden and you need someone to help you through that. How do you, because I hear a lot of motivational things, but it seems always it's easy when you're going through good life. But what if you're having a hard time? Would that make sense, my question?
Absolutely. And at first, it's just getting them to regulate their nervous system. And there's different techniques we can use to do that. And some of them might be as simple as tapping, tapping just to kind of go through the different acupressure points and learn how to regulate your system.
Okay.
Collarbone, especially, is really a great spot, especially if you're experiencing severe kind of that primal fear. That's when you're tapping and you're able to regulate your system. So we get their
So you're
system
tapping
regulated.
right here. What are they doing when they're tapping here? What is
Uh,
this?
Sometimes it's just primal and they're just tapping. You can use a story and you can talk about what it is that's bothering you and just let it out.
Oh,
But
okay.
sometimes it's just bringing your system down. And so there's a lot of different tools we can use that just help you regulate. Sometimes what I do is I create a recording that people can listen to because that's part of the RTT. We create a recording that they can listen to for 21 days. And for some people, they're not even at the space where they really can let in the hypnosis piece. And hypnosis is just a deep relaxation.
I
It's
agree.
not anything fancy. It can't make you, buck like a chicken unless you really chose to do that. But it's creating some kind of recording for them where I can soothe their nervous system. And
Sure.
sometimes that's all it is that they're ready to do is just listen to that. And just the act of listening to that will calm their body down because they're listening to it right before they go to sleep. So they're in that proper brain state
Sure.
or first thing in the morning when our brain is ready to absorb. And all we're doing is just calming down the nervous system. And then once they're able to do that, with that in combination of some of those techniques, then we're able to go deeper into hypnosis and we're able to go in and regress back to some other childhood scenes and figure out where is it coming from. And what I usually do when I'm doing a recording is I have an outline of a script, but then I'm channeling pieces as well. So I'm getting information specific to that person and writing it down.
I'm sorry, can you say
And
that again? You're reading off the person?
I'm
Okay.
channeling, yes, information specific to them. So I'm also a channel, so I'm able to get information.
Oh,
So when I do the hypnosis recording, I get specific information. It just kind of comes in and shows up in my mind, and then
oh.
I'm writing it down.
And do you do all
And
of
so
this online or do you do it in person?
I do it online. Everything
You
for me
do.
is online for the most part. I mean, I have done healings in person at retreats and things like that, but for the most part, most of what I support is online, just because it's much easier. You get a global audience and you're able to work with people all over the place. You're not limited.
Oh, that's amazing. So someone can be online, get a hold of you, sit down, do a session with you and follow through, and then whatever they're hoping to change or become, they can do that with you.
Absolutely. And
Oh,
so it
my.
can be a combination of the RTT. Sometimes it's just coaching, and that's just with your conscious mind, because sometimes it's just working through something that you're dealing with. And maybe that just requires a little bit of specific organization. You're working on something, and we can kind of create guidelines together and think about what your next best action steps are. So it can be a combination of all of those tools. And I find by being able to combine everything, we usually find something that's curated specifically for that person because no one is completely,
Yeah.
a cookie cutter solution.
Oh,
You have to
no.
have something that's curated to each person.
I agree. I read a lot of motivational books. I have my whole life. I'm all about that. I don't know why, it's just in me. And I guess perhaps because I was in sales, so you have to keep kind of self-motivating yourself.
Right.
And I think a lot of motivational speakers, as you probably know, and actually Marissa talks about it too, is if you think something, if you need to change your life, it really starts with your thoughts and your subconscious, and then moving forward. My question to you is, let's say someone wanted to manifest a different future. Are you about that too, where you're saying, okay, you have to think your way kind of, I mean, you have to take action too, but thinking your way to the future, do you believe in that?
I do. I've actually done some timeline shifting, and we've worked on just kind of going and shifting to a different timeline. But I think it's a little more complicated than just thinking your way to your new future.
What is timeline shifting? What is that? Help us out.
Another hypnosis technique where you can go in through a meditation and look at different timelines. And again, it depends on where your beliefs are in quantum, but
Sure.
I believe that we all have all of these parallel realities are all around us right now.
I've
So
heard about
wherever
this.
you
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
you're bringing in sort of the next timeline that is the best, highest version of you. And that's what you're working with.
So that's to do with the metaverse where everybody's has a life, but based on their decisions, they're in a different location or perhaps moment where they're actually somewhere else doing the something else in that. Does that make sense? In the same moment, but
It makes none of it makes sense, but that's the beauty of it, right?
yeah,
And we
yeah.
know that science is starting to support all of these quantum things. Like there's a lot of research around it and a lot of things supporting different quantum, just even mirror neurons, just by us being together, what we are experiencing our neurons are talking to each other. So if you're hanging out with people that are higher vibration and have a more positive outlook on the world, you are going to naturally start to vibrate in a higher frequency just from being around them.
I agree
So
with
there's
that
a
because
lot
you
of
can
kind
be
of little sciencey pieces that we're really figuring out and learning about, and we're implementing those. So I don't believe you can just start thinking a really good thought and that's going to change everything. I
right.
feel like there's a little bit more to it than that.
I agree with you on that. But I guess the premise is you have to change
The
your thinking.
premise is there, but it's also sometimes in how we think about things. Well, you think about going to order something from Amazon. We order it, we know it's coming, we forget about it, and it arrives, right? And we just know. But when we try to do that with manifesting, we might order it and we're like, oh, I don't know. Is it going to come? Do I need to check this again? Do I need to reorder it? And then what happens is your brain kind of gets stuck because it's that, well, I've ordered it, I'm not sure. I've ordered it, I'm not sure. And so it's really being very, very concrete in your knowing that it's going to show up for you. And that's the piece where as humans we struggle.
Yeah, yeah. In its simplest form, that makes total sense.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's a lot more complicated than that, but that's just a very simplified version.
Oh, I understand. Now, if I was to ask you, Denise, could you give us 3 tips for people today that you could help them with? Just little ideas that might help them in life, just general.
Oh, first of all, be aware of the thoughts you have going on in your mind. Start writing them down. Just start with awareness. Because whenever we put awareness on something, we automatically change it. So, starting with just being aware. Next step, use your emotions because your emotions are telling you how you're feeling about something. And it's not about being good or bad, it's just knowing where you are. So, if you're having a negative emotion, feel it, be with it, allow it to tell you what it's trying to tell you. And then in doing that, you can move through it a lot quicker. And the third one, surround yourself with positive people.
Oh, I
Be around people that are going to uplift you. Read motivating books, watch podcasts like these, and just start to surround yourself with the people that you want to become, because that's going to help you the quickest way possible step into whatever future you are trying to attain.
that's beautiful. Well said. I like that. Now, Denise, where do you see yourself in 5 years? What are your goals?
Amazing. My goals, I would love to be running more retreats and just really working with like-minded people because I find not only does it help me step into my next version of myself, but I get to connect with some incredible people, primarily women. But I was just at a retreat last weekend and just the elevation and the frequency that it brings And you just kind of ride on that for the next few weeks after. So I want to do a lot more of that and just stepping into speaking a little bit more and really just going into my next version of me.
I like that. Well done. And I have no doubt you're going to do that. Now, let's talk about your connections. You have social media. What's the best place people can reach you, Denise?
Best place is probably on Facebook. I am absolutely open. Feel free to anytime DM me, let me know what you might need. And I'm even more than happy to do a quick card reading or something else just to start the process. I also have a 20-minute connection link, which I will let you know if you want to just have a conversation and find out how I can help you.
That's great. So that's through Facebook. And can I just ask, did you say card reading? What is that?
Oh, sometimes I will do, the oracle card readings.
You do
Again,
those
just
too?
intuitive hits. Sometimes if there's a question that you might have that you need more elaboration on, we can connect in and
Oh, I
find out
like that.
a little bit more
I
information.
didn't know you did that too. Oh, that's fun. Can you do one now if
A
I
little
ask
bit
a
of
little question? Just for fun. It's just
it.
entertainment purposes. Can you do that or no?
Well, I have to connect in, but we can see what comes up. Let me just grab a deck and let's see what comes up.
I just love this stuff. As soon as you said that, you can see me perk up. Oh, I like that. That's fun.
All right. So what would you like to ask, or do you want to see what comes up for you?
Oh, okay. Why don't you just tell me what comes up for me? How's that?
Okay, sounds good. So
Just
let's
for fun. We'll
just
just do
see
one
what,
and then we'll leave it at that
yeah.
for the audience so that they can see what they're in for if they let
We can
us.
do one for the audience as well after.
Oh,
Okay, so
that's
here's
great.
yours. Oh, two are coming up for you.
Okay, let's do that then.
All right, so I'm just going to show you the card, see if you can see it.
I can.
Okay,
What does it
so
say though?
I'm going to read it to you. So the first card is Freya, Phases and Cycles. There is a beginning within every ending. Illusions are revealed and released. So it's interesting because right now in the collective, we have a lot of stuff clearing and a lot of stuff going on. And so this is all about phases and things changing. So now is a really good time if you're making some movements to think about what the changes are. So phases and
Oh,
cycles.
oh, that's interesting because I actually am making changes in every area of my life. So that's fascinating.
Well, it's a very good time for that.
Oh,
So it's
thank
time
you.
to have some things that you're closing and opening to new cycles. The next one, which is really interesting, see if you can see it,
Yeah, I can't.
is Joan of
There's a
Arc.
bit of glare, so you have to read it for us.
There's a bit of glare. I'm going to read it to you anyways. So it's the voice of truth. It says, stand strong, focus on your purpose, release the fear of persecution, and speak your truth.
Oh, I like that.
So again, when we're in our purpose and we're speaking our truth, that is the best thing we can do to move forward.
I
And
like that.
Joan of Arc is a very pivotal feature
I
in
like.
history. So it's that strong woman standing in her power and allowing yourself to speak. And there you go, Teresa. That's you. You are strong standing in your power and allowing your voice to come through.
That's
And then when
wonderful.
you can do that, you can also help others to release their voices as well,
Yeah, I think
which
really
is what
that's what my show is all about, helping other people bring their
it
voices
is.
forward. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That was wonderful. That was fun. Just for fun. That
All
was
right.
good.
Let's do one more for the just
Sure.
everyone watch.
So this is for the audience.
This is for the audience. Let's see where everyone's at. So I'm just asking for a collective card.
It's
It's
interesting
taking a
when you do
little
that.
bit of
I think of the universe and it's going to give you the card that's meant to be for that particular moment, right?
and that's usually exactly what happens. And sometimes takes a little bit longer, but we just kind of wait till one pops up.
No,
Let's
that's fine.
just,
Take your time.
all right. Interesting. One of my favorite. This is Bridget. She's Celtic and it's inner strength. Move back to wholeness. Recognize that you have the power. And I think that one's really important because one of the things we have to remember, so many of us look outside of ourselves for people that can help us find their truth. But you all have it. Everyone does. Even intuition. Everyone has intuition. They all have access to it. It's just a matter of going through and learning how you communicate through your intuition, because everyone's different. So this is knowing you already have that power. And see the flame right there? You already have it. It's already there, part of you, and you can access that whenever you choose.
That's
So
fantastic.
thank you,
Thank you,
Bridget.
Denise. So for everyone, make sure you have that. That's awesome. Thank you, Denise. Denise, thank you so much for coming today. I truly appreciate that. This has been fun, but you've taught me a lot and taught our audience a lot. I really think it's important that if people are struggling, that there's people like you, and you're very kind and giving, to be able to talk to and perhaps have some counseling, and you can help them work through those issues. So thank you for joining me today, Denise.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. It was such a pleasure to connect with you and with your incredible audience. So thank you.
My pleasure. And to everyone else, this is Teresa Aker from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. This has been Denise Porter. Do go over to her Facebook page and see about a consultation, ask her some advice, and maybe get a card reading. After that, this is Teresa Aker from Success Diaries with Teresa Aker. I hope you're all having a great day. Do subscribe to my channel. I appreciate that. Have a great day. I look forward to talking to you all very soon. Bye-bye now.